racing games are almost as old as gaming itself, but that doesn't exempt the genre from a few flat tires. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 worst racing games of all time. Number 10, Pokemon Dash. Pokemon is beloved in the hearts of many, but Dash is an example of how the name on the box doesn't always mean a quality product. Pokemon and the DS seem like a natural fit, but as a launch title, Dash didn't leave the best impression on gamers due to its infuriating control scheme. Pikachu, the only Pokemon you can play as, is controlled by swiping the stylus in whichever direction you please. The problem? After a few races, your hand can become tired and kinda painful. Those with the willpower to carry on will also find that the game could be finished within a few hours. Lucky you.
Only you can make Pikachu run.
Number 9, Hot Wheels Beat That. This next racing game puts you in the driving seat of a small toy car. Past that, there's not much else to say.
Touchdown!
The game is emphatically uninspired, despite the uniqueness of its premise. With vehicles so small, developers could have let their creative juices flow and produced some truly extraordinary tracks. Instead, the game features 4 bland, unimaginative locales, and the gameplay itself is no better, with clunky collision mechanics that cause your vehicle to jump, flip, and burn out at the slightest tap from another car or object. There are thousands of other racing games that have this monstrosity beaten, despite its title.
Car eliminated!
Number 8, Spirit of Speed 1937. Published by LJN. Need I say more? This horrific title takes players back to the 1930s during the birth of motorsport. For a game with the word speed in the title, it's funny how slowly your will to live will be sapped away as you endure this mundane racing experience. Unbearable load times and preposterous physics make this game nearly unplayable, while ugly visuals and infuriating sound effects will drive you insane in no time. There are literally almost no redeeming factors about this one. Number 7, Mythmakers Super Kart GP. The third attempt at a racing game from Data Design Interactive, following 2005's Action Girls Racing and January 2008's Billy the Wizard Rocket Broomstick Racing, Mythmakers puts you in control of several fairy tale-esque creatures. The game is pretty good for children, but anyone old enough to notice the devastating collision detection will notice that this game is nearly unplayable at the slightest bump. Rocket Broomstick Racing and Action Girls Racing are terrible games in their own right, but Mythmakers adds insult to injury by showing glimpses of potential, making the poorer parts of the game stick out even worse. Number 6, Fast and Furious Showdown.
That was on me.
For a movie franchise that prides itself on sensationalizing racing, Showdown is a failure at having anything to do with the words sensational or racing. It's a collaboration of humdrum shooting mechanics, hilariously poor graphics, and lackluster driving. Besides the name, the game features little to do with being fast and or furious, with most races being completed at fairly regular speed. It's clear to see that the developers of this game tried to capture the chaotic nature of the movie franchise, but instead they've created a buggy, uninspired eyesore. Just play Need for Speed Underground instead.
Toretto's crew lives by a code. They're like a family.
I don't buy that.
Number 5, Sonic R. Sonic the Hedgehog and racing games should go hand in hand, but the only thing fast about this title is how quickly you'll complete it. There's truly no substance, both in length and in gameplay, with 5 tracks, 3 modes consisting of single player, multiplayer, and time trial, and a devoid lack of characters, despite Sonic's rich cast. Sega and Sonic Team tried to remedy this screw-up with the Sonic Rider series, but eventually ended up sinking that series too with their unresponsive Sonic Free Riders for the Kinect. Oh, Sega. Number 4. Eminems Kart Racing. Hey! Racing games simply aren't enough when the races are a case of getting from point A to point B, and that's exactly where Eminems Kart Racing goes wrong. No items, no shortcuts, and no other gameplay mechanics that you'd typically see in other titles of the same genre make the core gameplay of this title extremely boring.
Hello?
Add in cramped, claustrophobic track design and horrific collision detection on top of that, and you have a terribly mundane title. It's about as entertaining as you'd expect from a game based on candy.
Okay, that is bad driving.
This is not like Kyle at all.
Are we winning?
I thought you were looking.
Number 3, Crazy Frog Racer. Neko Entertainment's Crazy Frog Racer puts you in control of the titular annoying amphibian as well as 8 other characters from the Crazy Frog universe. What fun. Unfortunately, this is as diverse as the game gets, with tracks that all feel the same, look the same, and play the same. Not only this, but once you get a decent enough lead ahead of your adversaries, you're not likely to ever see them again. Can a brother get a rubber band here? It's dull, it's ugly, and it's as much fun as you'd expect a Crazy Frog game to be. Oh, and there is a sequel. And for that, they literally recycled the tracks from the first game and just replaced the textures to give it a new theme. But the layout is exactly the same, as are the driving mechanics. That means it's the exact same game with a different cosmetic look. Fail. Number 2, the Zoo Race.
Oh, at the start, it's Kane the Cougar.
Second place on our list is a racing game based on the biblical tale of Noah's Ark, putting you in control of several poorly modeled animals such as Priscilla the pig, Cain the cougar, and Hannah the horse. If that doesn't sound fun enough, you're forced to race around a poorly designed track with no map or any indication of the whereabouts of the finish line.
Thank you, Lord. Praise your name. Thank you, Lord.
Topping it all off, you're made to endure horrific sound effects that make the game sound more like a slaughterhouse than a racing title. The glitchy animations, lack of physics, and that cutscene make this completely unplayable.
They said something, then it started again. The war began.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few dishonorable mentions. Number 1, Big Rigs, over-the-road racing. Big Rigs is absurd in every sense of the word. It's difficult to mention one mechanic in this game that actually works. Let's list out what doesn't work then. Collision detection? What's that? Gravity? Pfft, no cliff will slow down this big rig. The track Night Ride? That just crashes the game. How about the developer's spell checker? Ain't nobody got time for your winner. Sound effects? Well, just one will do. Have a listen. Sure, this game may seem like low-hanging fruit, but come on, it's almost glorious in how bad it is. Do you agree with our list?
Oh, this is right. These guys ain't playing around.
What was the worst racing game you've ever played? For more great top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.